What's up, Taiwan? How's it going? I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A cross-party delegation of German lawmakers visiting Taiwan has said the war in Ukraine shows democracies must support each other in the face of authoritarianism. Members of the German delegation made the comments to reporters on Thursday, the final day of their 5-day trip to Taiwan. While here, they've met with senior government officials as well as politicians from the opposition Kuomintang. Delegates added that despite differences in opinion on foreign policy in Berlin, there is consensus that military intimidation is not acceptable. China has undertaken a series of large-scale military exercises around Taiwan since the U.S. House Speaker visited Taipei in August. Berlin has taken a stronger stance on China since a new government entered office last year. But analysts say tension remains over how to balance ties with Germany's most important trading partner.
And how have the senior echelons of the German government been receiving your trip to Taiwan?
Ich würde gerne mal unterstreichen, dass es eine Parlamentarierdelegation ist. Und der Vorteil in Demokratien ist, dass Parlamentarierinnen und Parlamentarier auch teilweise unabhängig von exekutiven diplomatischen Beziehungen handeln können. Es gibt eine vom Parlament verabschiedete Resolution, dass wir möchten, dass Taiwan wieder in die WHA aufgenommen wird. Es gibt die Bemerkung im Koalitionsvertrag. Ich glaube, all das, wenn Sie das korrekt lesen, wird Ihnen zeigen, dass Parlament und Regierung durchaus auf einer Linie arbeiten, aber halt mit unterschiedlichen Instrumenten.
A growing number of private schools are shutting down as Taiwan's low birth rate leaves them without enough students. Jean Van Trieste reports.
Shutting its doors permanently. When the Fortune Institute of Technology was founded in 1989, higher education in Taiwan was starting to boom. Getting a degree became the new norm, and private schools like this popped up across the country to meet demand. But that bubble has long since burst. And with the fertility rate declining since the 80s, and now the lowest in the world, Taiwan is left with too many universities and not nearly enough students to fill them. Here at Fortune, only 38 remain. Fortune is one of 7 private colleges and universities the government is decommissioning. Admissions stopped last year, and the school will close next year, with remaining students and faculty to be moved elsewhere.
明年的4月前，像他们相关的这些学分等能够完成他就会在原校来毕业。那对于因为还在其他年度来就学的同学，那我们目标是在这个寒假调查学生的意愿。
And it isn't just private universities shutting down. Private high schools and trade schools are also struggling with low enrollment. The head of the K-12 Education Administration, Peng Fuyuan, thinks more than 20 could be shuttered, but that figure could be higher, and the Union of Private School Educators is calling for more transparency.
让社会知道学校的办学状况以免考生再误入这个地雷学校。
The committee in charge of decommissioning schools has yet to make a decision about how many more schools will be shut down. But as Taiwan's population declines, the closure of schools is a trend that can only accelerate. Damon Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
After years of discussion, Taiwan is set to remove military personnel from schools by 2030 and replace them with security guards. As Jean Van Trieste reports, the practice of stationing military officers on campuses is one that goes back decades and still stirs up controversy.
A controversial practice at Taiwan's schools may be on its way out. In 1951, the government stationed military personnel in schools. Taiwan was under martial law then, and their role was to oversee mandatory military training for students and spread government ideology. In today's democratic Taiwan, their job has more to do with keeping order and making sure students don't get into trouble.
学员大概一个可能眼神，或者是一个动作，那或是一些身上的味道，其实一闻，他们其实就马上可以知道是这个学员有没有去做吸烟。
But there are still 1,900 of them. And while their supporters see them as more capable and dedicated than security guards, their detractors see them as a relic of authoritarianism. Plans to replace them with security officers are underway.
陆陆续续进来的，他们慢慢加做经验传承，慢慢就会学务创新人就会慢慢取代，就是发挥教官原本的功能。
But these plans have been delayed. They were supposed to be decommissioned in 2021, but that was extended to 2023 when the military added 2 years of service for officers. Now there's a new date.
如果他没有提早退，也没有考虑晋升的关系，大概2030差不多就退完了。
Which will mean that after nearly 80 years, Taiwan schools will be in purely civilian hands. James Rayner and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A nude sculpture known as Taiwans Venus that was missing for 50 years is a central feature of a light show marking this year's National Day celebration. The showcase of Taiwanese art includes songs and images of paintings and films that light up the presidential office in Taipei. And most notable is a sculpture which emerged into the public again late last year. Also known as Water of Immortality, it was created 100 years ago by renowned Taiwanese artist Huang Tu-shui. The work was later abandoned at a railway station, then kept hidden away by a local family. A university professor found the sculpture after searching for it for 20 years. The light show is on every evening until National Day on October 10th. Taiwan's location on the migration trail means it is a home to a huge variety of bird species, and few are quite as majestic as the mountain hawk eagle. We traveled to its habitat in Taiwan's central mountain range to learn more.
This is the first flight of a young mountain hawk eagle. In the future, it will become the king of Taiwan's forests and skies. Just 2 months ago, it was still a fuzzy chick, waiting for its parents to feed it with fresh meat they brought back every day. During the brooding period, parent birds go by the tradition of working father and stay-at-home mother, so the one feeding is the mother, and on a nearby tree hunting is the father. Mountain hawk eagles like to live in large expanses of primitive forests in mid to low altitudes and hunt a variety of prey, almost 80% of which are mammals. In particular, Formosan giant flying squirrels are hunted from their nests and the most common. As they are apex predators of the forest, their presence means the forest ecosystem is intact and healthy. Usually, when young eagles demonstrate this type of food-begging behavior, it is a sign that its parents is about to return. This time, it brings back a Pallas's squirrel. Though they are the king of forests, their reproductive rate is very low, with 1 egg in 1 nest a year, and a brooding period lasting as long as 70 to 80 days. More than half a year passes from nest building to the young eagle's fledging. Therefore, the population is extremely low, and they are a protected wild animal in Taiwan under the list for Level 1 endangered species. The young eagle is able to eat on its own. Now, the mother does not stay by its side all the time, and rather perches on another tree, apparently to train it to survive on its own. It is finally time to fledge. For the event, the mother purposefully does not feed it, merely flying and calling from afar, ignoring the cries of the hungry youngling. Finally, driven by instinct and hunger, the young eagle leaves the nest where it has remained for almost 3 months and leaps onto the tip of the branch. This is the site of a young eagle's first flight. In just a few years, it will become the new king of Taiwan's forests and skies, just like its parents.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of new members of the alpaca family in Taipei Zoo. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.